Hey YouTube, we are back again this week for another video portion of the Daly Dose Sports Podcast. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope everyone out there is staying healthy, both physically and mentally with all that is going on. This week on the Daly Dose YouTube video, we are going to be doing a Daly Dose Top 5 for you. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now. Now, as we do every week, we need to get to our Daly Dose Top 5. Hey, I know right now, we have a number of things actually going in sports. The NBA playoffs are underway. Major League Baseball is going now. The Stanley Cup playoffs are rolling. NASCAR is racing. You might not have realized this. I didn't. The Indy 500 is actually this next Sunday. We have MMA events. We have the PGA Tour. We have soccer and boxing events going. And I actually like all the sports that are going on right now. There are actually some things to watch. And for months, we didn't have that. I'm watching them. But you know, mid to late August here in the United States, it typically means just one thing, at least to me, maybe to you, football. And while there is some limited movement right now in the world of football, training camps are beginning to open in the NFL. College football is starting practice in the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 and Notre Dame. But we aren't going to have the preseason like we usually have it. And while I won't miss preseason games from the NFL one tiny single bit, they usually did provide us with something to watch, some news. So-and-so played well. This rookie looked pretty good. Maybe, I don't know, somebody got injured, something bad like that. But we got some news from it. Now, last week, HBO's annual NFL documentary Hard Knocks began. And this season, Hard Knocks is covering both the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams, who will be sharing a stadium in LA. And early on, it's kind of tough to watch because the entire thing is basically just showing how they have to social distance and all of the testing that is going on within NFL complexes. It's not really all that much football. You have to cover those angles. I understand it, but I don't really want to watch it. I want to watch some actual football. I want to have some actual football excitement. And if you are feeling the same way and you need some real football in your life, I actually have some alternatives for you. Today, our Daly Dose Top 5 is going to count down the top 5 TV shows to satisfy your football fix. And no, I'm not talking about shows like the Aaron Hernandez documentary or anything like that, O.J. Simpson, whatever, because those are about murder. Those aren't about football. I mean real, actual football. And no, I'm actually not talking about Hard Knocks. I've got a few other series that might be worth your time if you are jonesing to watch some football. So let's start off at number 5. We have a series on HBO that follows 2 high school football teams, both in the state of Florida. In fact, just down the road from each other. Fourth and Forever Muck City is what it's called. And Fourth and Forever Muck City is an 8-part documentary that follows the rivalry between 2 high schools, Pahokee High School and Glade Central. Now, the story itself, it's reasonably interesting. You have some names down there. You have some big-time talent down there. But like former Los Angeles Raider Jesse Hester, do you remember him? He coaches Glade Central. And former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Anquan Bolden, well, his little brother is actually the coach at Pahokee. Now, I'll warn you ahead of time. The camera work in Fourth and Forever, it's not great. Sometimes it looks like they let actual high school kids do the filming. They'll miss a section of a play, so that part's not great. But the overall product of the show, Muck City, it does at least give you a pretty good feeling about the high school football experience. Now, I want to give you one word of warning. Do not confuse Fourth and Forever Muck City with another series on HBO called just Fourth and Forever. They're both on HBO. They're a part of the same thing. But Fourth and Forever, without the Muck City, it follows a season with Long Beach Poly High School out in Los Angeles, California. And I'm telling you right now, that series is terrible. I watched it. But here's the dumb thing. Instead of just filming a documentary, They tried to have the players and coaches act and say their lines, so it's really, really painful to watch. But 4th and Forever Muck City, it's not bad. It actually does have some drama. You see a really, really close rivalry. These kids know each other. These teams and coaches know each other. It's a heated rivalry. I wouldn't say it's like a bitter hate rivalry, but it's definitely a heated rivalry. 4th and Forever Muck City, at least solid, and it comes in at number 5. We move on to number 4, and we have a series that is going to make you cheer for some things involving football. It's also going to make you cringe quite a bit, because we know how big Texas high school football is. Hey, some of those schools down there, they are playing in like college stadiums. It's insane. Well, Friday Night Tykes follows the Pee Wee football teams that eventually feed into those Texas high schools. Now, there are currently 4 seasons of Friday Night Tykes on Netflix. And you're going to see a number of things. Some of them are good. You're going to see young future superstars. You're going to see kids working really hard who truly have a love of the game. And you're also going to see some really bad things. You're going to see psychotic parents. You're going to see way too demanding coaches of like 8 and 9-year-olds. You're going to see kids get head injuries that are just swept aside. You will see people acting like fools in the stands of a Pee Wee football game. It can be tough to watch at times, I won't lie. And it can also have you at the edge of your seat as you wonder what might happen next. Friday Night Tykes is a perfect example of adults ruining things for kids in youth sports, as we see so often. But I'll say this, Friday Night Tykes, sometimes it's a train wreck. It is kind of a train wreck you can't turn away from. It comes in on our list today at number 4. We reach our number 3 alternative to no football just yet. We have some football for you to watch though. And at number 3, we have another Netflix original series that follows high school football. And this series actually focuses on the quarterback position specifically. It's called QB1 Beyond the Lights. And this series has actually been fortunate enough to follow some pretty good quarterbacks. They follow Jake Fromm, who played, of course, at the University of Georgia, is now in the NFL. They follow current Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. They follow Tate Martell. You might remember he went and played at the University of Miami. They follow Spencer Rattler, who is supposed to be the starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma this year. Those 4 guys have all appeared in the show. There are 3 seasons of QB1, and each of them gets you invested in 3 different quarterbacks as they follow them through their season. And you do kind of get interested in these guys. You follow them enough that you want to go Google search them and be like, well, where'd this kid end up? What did he end up doing? He's a pretty good player. Or he struggled. Whatever happened to this guy? I never heard of him after this. It is interesting to see the different quarterbacks and how they are in usually their senior season, their primetime moment. But it's also interesting to see some of the different high schools, because you can tell in the different states just how passionate some of these people are for their high school. We see high schools in California, Georgia, Florida, a big-time high school in Las Vegas, Nevada. QB1, it's pretty entertaining. And they say there is a 4th season coming out soon. QB1 Beyond the Lights, it makes our list today at number 3. Moving on to number 2. Now, maybe you don't care about high school or even college football. Maybe what you are missing right now is the National Football League. But I mean, all that's out there to watch about the NFL is Hard Knocks, right? Well, actually, no. Check out a series on Amazon called All or Nothing. There are actually 5 seasons of All or Nothing. And each one of them follows a full season of footage from the locker room to the sideline to the headset to getting to know the players at home to game mics on players. And they follow a few different teams in these seasons. So All or Nothing starts off following the Arizona Cardinals for a season. They follow the Los Angeles Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, the Carolina Panthers, and finally the most recent addition followed the Philadelphia Eagles. But here's the thing about All or Nothing, and here's the thing that separates it from Hard Knocks. All or Nothing does what we wish Hard Knocks did. It actually keeps following the team after the preseason. It follows them through the regular season. It follows them in their biggest games, and sometimes even into the playoffs if they actually are lucky enough to make the playoffs. You get to know players. You get to know coaches. You get to hear private conversations, and sometimes you find out, oh, that's what happened in that big game. This is what they were talking about. This is what the coaches were trying to do. All or Nothing on Amazon, it's a pretty entertaining series, a number of different seasons for you to choose from, and a few different teams that you might want to watch. But Amazon's All or Nothing comes in on our list today at number 2. Hey, if you're jonesing for some football, you might want to go check that one out. We finally reach our number 1 entry on our top 5 list of football shows to watch right now while we are waiting for real live football to actually get started. And we reach our number 1 entry, and it's really, really good. I'll tell you that right now. I watched this, and I'm at the edge of my seat. It's really, really good. Last Chance U now has 3 seasons on Netflix. But the first 2 seasons are actually split in half. So it's kind of like they have 5 seasons, but it's really just 3 full seasons. But Last Chance U follows a junior college full of players who are hoping to move on to the big time, but are also just one strike away from never being heard from again. Now, the first season, kind of 2 seasons, follows East Mississippi Community College. The second is based at Independence Community College in Kansas. And the most recent is at Laney College in Oakland, California. Each of these seasons follows these kids, follows the coaches, sometimes it even follows some of the professors within the university, and these players are all hoping to transfer on to the big-time world of Division I football. Some of them came from there, and they got sent down. They are now wanting to go back. Some make it. You might recognize some of their names, and others that are really talented, that look every bit like they could possibly be a D1 player. They could even be an NFL kind of player. You have to remember, sometimes there's a reason that they are there to begin with, because sometimes they just can't get out of their own way. But Last Chance U, it is very interesting to watch. Sometimes there are some big-time high moments. Sometimes there are embarrassing moments. Sometimes there are sad and disappointing moments. There are great moments on and off the field. I encourage you to check out Last Chance U on Netflix. Hey, if you're missing football like I am, you might want to check out a few of these shows that are out there, because it's not going to be long, and we should get some real live football coming our way very soon. Keep in mind, the NFL is scheduled to start their regular season on September 10th. College football, they are saying they are going to get their season started on September 26th. And as usual, here at The Dose, we will be getting you ready for those seasons as we get closer. So make sure that you keep listening. But it sounds like football season is coming, and I, for one, am rooting for it to happen. It might be weird. I don't care. I still want my football. Okay, YouTube, be sure that you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast. I will leave a link down in the comments for you so that you can find it very, very easily. Hey, this week on the show, we have some breaking sports news stories that we need to talk, but then we are taking a look at the NBA playoffs, which got started earlier this week, and we are kind of giving you an idea of what you might want to watch in each one of those series. We do also make our picks on who is going to be advancing. So make sure that you go check out the full podcast. Hey, hope everyone out there is doing well. Have a great week, everybody. I will see you all next week.